Mike Schmitz of ESPN. We're here with Austin Reaves, Oklahoma guard, potential first-round pick. Austin, appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
So I think you're a college basketball fan, kind of got to know your game, during the NCAA tournament, obviously a big showing against Gonzaga. But for the NBA fan who maybe doesn't know much about you as a player, how would you describe your game?
I would say an all-around point guard and someone that likes to get his teammates involved first, and then just really take what the defense gives you after that, if it's scoring or passing. But at the end of the day, win is all that matters. So do whatever it takes to win at the end of the day, and that's how I would explain myself.
So is there anyone you look at in the NBA and say, either you're studying them or, okay, maybe I could play that type of role?
Yeah, I mean, the one that comes to mind is like a Joe Ingles, just someone that has a high basketball IQ, wants to win. Really, I mean, night in and night out, his best contribution might be something different every night. And just ends up watching people taking things. I mean, I'm a basketball guy. I watch a lot of basketball. So, I mean, really just trying to take pieces from a little bit of everybody, all the greats. I mean, just watching Steph, KD, like all of them, just you can pick up on little things here and there throughout every time you watch.
We're going to dive into some of that. We're going to do a little segment called 5 on 5. We're going to show, 5 different kind of play types where you're having success and pick your brain on that. And then maybe 5 plays where you'd either like to have it back or make a different decision and kind of get inside your mind there. So first we're going to start in pick and roll here. And that's obviously somewhere you were very successful, right? And I think the key for you has always been like forcing them over the screen, right? Making enough shots from 3 to force them over the screen. And then when that is the case, okay, so high ball screen coming here, as a scorer, what are you looking at when you first come off here? Like, what are you evaluating?
The first thing I looked at was where the big's location was, and he jumped on the same side that the guard was on, so I was able to know if I got my guy to the screen, then even if he was in a drop, that I was going to have the 3 wide open because he was on the opposite side and it was too long of a recovery to get back to that side.
Yeah, okay, got you. So you can see he's on the wrong side of where the screen's set, so you know already, like, he's deep in a deep drop. I can just hop into this, right?
Yes, sir.
And how much of an emphasis we'll get into the catch and shoot stuff, but I know it seems like in the mid-range you're really comfortable. We'll show some of that. How big of an emphasis has it been to like extend the range and become just as accurate, pull up threes as you are in those mid-range spots?
It's major. I mean, that's the way basketball goes these days. Is the 3 is just as important, if not as important as everything else. So really, just putting in the work every day really just putting in the work and spending the time on situations just like these.
Yeah, you're going to have these situations for sure, where you have room to operate. You'll see most NBA teams, we talk about switching, but a lot of them play out of those drops because they want to give up mid-range jumpers, right?
Yes, sir.
So you'll have that opportunity. And then, okay, here against TCU, I thought one of your best games of the year. So now they're fighting over. First of all, you're so crafty with, like, not getting the ball poked away, right? Like, you can feel him reaching.
Yeah, he actually, the year before, so my junior year, he got me in that situation. And same guy, everything kind of in the same situation, same time of the game. So it was kind of sitting there in the back of my head, like, he's going to reach. He's done it a couple times before, but just getting him into that ball screen, I know he was going to be eliminated to get back in front, so he was going to reach from behind and try to get it.
All right, so there's you kind of going through the body, right? And then if they are kind of a little bit more up to touch, what are your options here? What do you see?
So he's still kind of in a little bit of the drop, but just getting my guy into the ball screen there, I know he's going to be trailing, so I have the opportunity to get the big kind of in a one-on-one situation. And his change of direction is not the best, so I knew if I could give him a little bit of in and out or a little cross, just to get him thinking going one way, I would have the opportunity to get around him and finish at the rim.
Yeah, no question. And so those are some of the ways I think, you can score against those drops when they're fighting over. And then one other, too, is like your feel for initiating contact is really good, and then have the float game as well. What allows you to kind of, feel so comfortable knowing that you're going to draw this foul and then going up with the floater?
Yeah, I mean, it's really it's a craft. Getting fouled and drawing fouls, like I said, it's one of my favorite things to do, and just getting to the free throw line is a good way to get yourself going in a game. And you see here, he's kind of sliding back, but kind of into me at the same time. So I know if I went into his body, then the ref was going to be forced to call a foul. And knowing that I'm going to do that, I'm going to just throw it, to get it up at the rim and give it an opportunity to go in.
And one of the best, Oklahoma grad as well, Trae Young, is really good at drawing those type of fouls, right?
Oh, yeah, he's special with that.
Yeah, no question. So, all right, one thing people might ask, right, is, okay, we've seen you scoring, in pick and roll, and some people might say, okay, if there's a really athletic big switched out onto you, and we'll show you having success, but they may question, how can he go get a bucket, right, especially at the NBA level? If it's Giannis, if it's Bam, if it's somebody like that, like how you going to go get one, right? What do you see here on this possession against Jericho Sims? Anything you would have done differently as you kind of size him up?
He played a really good defensive possession, but what I do see is if I would have went middle, the corner was wide open. Moja Gibson in the corner is wide open. You got Alondes Williams sitting right there on the backside of his defender. So if I got to the middle, then he was going to have a wide open three. Just trying to make the right play right there would have been the best thing. Not even just to get myself a bucket, just to get the good look for the team.
Got you. So you could make that weak side hit, or if you got to the middle because he's kind of pinning him in?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. And I think a lot of this, too, is like the more and more your pull-up three becomes a threat, the more and more you can kind of beat guys in isolation, right?
Yes, sir. No, that's a main focus this summer.
And that's what you'll see here, okay? Like, he's on his heels, and you just rock into that pull-up three, right?
Yes, sir. Like you said, it's just people playing back and have the opportunity to pull up and make a big shot.
Yeah, huge shot late in the game, and then, okay, now they got to respect that, so then what do?
I drive, and I knew that, all day they was coming over 2-3 guys to block the shot, so I knew Brady was right there waiting, ready for the pass to come and for him to have a wide open layup to tie the game.
All right. There's you kind of playing off of the threat of your jumper, but I think your bread and butter, honestly, is these crossovers, whether it's left to right and right to left. What's the key to this move, and how long have you had this in your game?
Yes, sir. It goes back to high school. This is one of my favorite moves, just to get the defender rocking one way and then go the opposite. Once he drops right there, you know that you're going to have to pull up. You just got to jump up, rise up, and knock it down.
Yeah, and so much of this is like the rhythm, right? Do you think you could ever have this move like from three?
Yeah, I do. And it's just repetition and getting in the gym and working on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the touch, the rhythm, the cadence, all great. And then here's just showing it, going to your right as well. Got him on an island again, maybe a little slower footed big, and then got him, right?
Yes, sir. It's the same situation. And I knew as soon as he dropped that foot back because he thought I was going to drive, then the pull-up was going to be wide open. And there's another instance where you just got to rise up and knock down the shot.
Yeah, and the footwork there is perfect. And being quick with that crossover as well. That's a big part of your game. And then not even always just to the pull-up, right? So then you can play off that and get downhill?
Yes, sir. As soon as he reached and didn't get it, I knew I was going to have a step on him and then just keeping him kind of on my hip and feeling him not going to block the shot. I knew I was going to have the opportunity to go up and lay it in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's against a long, athletic guy, able to get it off the backboard quickly. All right, couple positions. So we talked about switches, right? Athletic bigs being switched onto you. And then sometimes you had a guy like Miles McBride who's just like clamps. So if you would have had this one back, do you remember this?
I probably should have just kept my dribble alive there and then kicked it out or something. But, yeah, he made a good defensive play.
Yeah, maybe it's probing a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
But even so. And here's another one. So this was late game, right? And you had some big moments here. What about this one? What would you do differently here? So I know you're kind of trying to run out the clock, right?
Yeah. My thought process was, and Davion, we talked about it afterwards. He was coming up. I knew after right here the second ball screen that Brady set, he was going to become open. But Davion kind of threw me off a little bit right here running up. And I kind of kicked it up because I got stuck, and I traveled in a bad situation there. But
yeah, and you mentioned like using ball screens too, right? It's a big way to get these type of guys off of you, and so much of that is setups as well. And I think you're really good at like running your guy into the screen, and sometimes it's just using your size too. So you end up getting a bucket here. What do you like about this?
Yeah, it was a ghost screen. One of our best shooters coming off a ghost screen, so they either was in the situation where they had to switch with a good switch or stick to their own. And as soon as he kind of opened up a little bit, I knew I was going to have an alley left, but I knew he was going to get back in front because he's quick, athletic. So just to change the direction and then just a quick floater right here is key, because if you take too many dribbles, everything's going to be clogged up. So really just rising up and knocking down the floater.
Yeah, it's a great point too with the ghost screen. So that's coming, and then that's going to cause a little confusion, opens up his hips, and then you just get downhill, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's perfect. And having those in-between shots is huge, obviously, especially when it's playoff basketball like we've seen. So, all right, then a little bit of facilitating out of pick and roll. I love this, just kind of the rhythm you're playing with here. What do you see? So he kind of jumps top side?
Yes, sir. They was icing, balloon, I don't know, whatever everybody calls it.
Yeah.
Ice. But they was jumping on the tie side of the ball screen, so I knew if I was going to have Culver coming down at a speed that he wasn't going to be able to get back to the middle. So it was a little Euro step, and then it's either McNeil come all the way over or not. I have a layup if he doesn't, and then I have Mo like that in the corner for a wide open three if he does.
Yeah, that's great. You kind of catch him napping a little bit too. Like Culver should be probably in better position here. Okay, Euro, kick out on the money, splash. And then here, okay, more of a middle ball screen, right? They're in more kind of like a drop corral up to touch. What are you looking at here as you come off?
We knew going into the game that their weak side low guy was not where it should be. A lot of the times they was hugging the defender on the weak side, and with Kerr rolling down the middle of the lane, I knew he has a way better opportunity of rising up and dunking this with a guy backpedaling towards him and a guy going over. So really just trusting Kerr in this situation, but just making the pass in a good situation where he could go get it.
All right, here's one I wanted to get your take on. So, okay, high ball screen, up to touch. What do you see here as you come off? Anything you would have done differently?
The only reason I shot it is because I thought they was going to call it block, so I wanted to get the 2 free throws. But I had a dump off to EJ right here to the block, or I have Mo in the corner wide open, or I have a lot of options. I have Brady at the top of the key.
Yeah, so as you come off, okay, maybe that's an option, but again, and that probably is a block, but
I don't want to get started on that one.
Yeah, hey, we got to get rid of the block charge call altogether, man. I'm done.
I'm with you.
Especially in college, it's like everything's a charge. It's unbelievable. This is kind of the same situation, right? They're kind of like almost in a hedge, but not committing to it. And then you turn the corner. I know it gets bobbed a little bit, but who was this to?
It was too big because I really thought that McNeil would think it was going to Davion. So he really made a good catch on it, a good read to pivot and find the open person, but it was too big. It was to the guard roller. Yeah, no, it's a good pass, and I think this shows the ability to kind of make those one-handed passes on the move with your right hand, with your left hand, and we'll see another one here. Okay, maybe you get sped up a little bit by this aggressive pick and roll defense, but get it back, and then just kind of whip it to the shooter, right? Wide open, really good three-point shooter for sure. And you had some of those too with Brady, like just quick pops, being able to hit him. So yeah, I think you're going to have that, at the next level. One thing I want to ask you about is like some of these like probe situations, right, where you have the opportunity to maybe like keep it. What do you think that was an option here? I know you love initiating contact, right, and getting into the body. I'm just curious what you see. Yeah, I feel like if I kind of would have, like you said, probed like one dribble right, like one more step right there, and he kind of would have froze for a second, I'd had an opportunity just to go lay it up. But I was just looking for the contact, trying to get to the free throw line. But like right there, kind of slow down a little bit, give him a fake back, like I'm going outside, and then maybe jump back on the top side a little bit more, and then I'd have had just a wide open layup there. Yeah, and still 12 seconds on the shot clock, right? So you could even circle underneath. You see if your shooters are relocating, or maybe it's a drop off, maybe it's a quick finish. All those different things as you have more spacing in the NBA, and it leads to a bucket, right? Same with this next one. This leads to an open shot, I believe, but another opportunity maybe to like, all right, I'm getting downhill,
and rather than killing it, just keep it, right?
Yeah, keep it going baseline. Yeah, for sure. I see that.
And if you watch Steve Nash or Tony Parker or CP, guys like that, I mean, they were so good at this.
Yeah, they circle. I've seen CP circle the whole lane.
5 different times.
Oh, yeah. It's tough.
And again, you get a good look out of it, a good open shot. But this I think is a good example of doing that, right? So, okay, what do you see as you come off here?
Like you said, just giving it a little bit of probe and a little bit of time for myself to even see what I have. I mean, and then you got Miles coming over from the weak side. I mean, you know that someone's going to be in the corner for either a wide open shot or in this instance a catch and drive for a layup.
Yeah, exactly. And in the NBA, that's probably going to be a 40% three-point shooter, right? So whether it's getting downhill for that or making that skip like you talked about before, I think you have that ability, and then that leads to the open bucket there. So one thing that you're probably sick of hearing is like, okay, can you catch and shoot? And it's just it's almost ironic because, like you said, at Wichita State, that's kind of what you were, right? What about this? This is a great play, first of all, by Davion Mitchell. But do you feel like, has it been an adjustment getting out of the mindset of like, okay, now I'm with the ball, as opposed to like, okay, maybe just letting some of these fly?
Yeah, I feel like I got caught up in trying to make too many plays in situations. I mean, trying to be, the point guard to almost to a fault. Instead of in these situations, just catching and shooting. Later in the year, I think we was playing Kansas. And there was a situation where ball was reversed, catch shot, a good shot and went in. So just kind of like a mindset, getting myself back into that mindset of really just being a good catch and shoot shooter.
Yeah, because as good as you are with the ball, right? So many NBA teams are playing multi-guard lineups. You look at CJ Dame, Norman Powell, even. They start those guys together. They're all like 6'3" and under, So you might have to catch and shoot. But as the year went on, it seemed like you got even more and more comfortable in those situations, right?
No, for sure. It was something I talked with a couple of my teammates, coaches, and really just being in the mindset to catch and shoot. And really, like I said, being in the situation and having everything ready, set, to shoot it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had some big moments against a lot of good guards this year. And I know this pass isn't great, but this is, as we're talking about later in the year, right? You just seem more comfortable. Okay, I'm just going to turn into this, let it fly, stay in your shot. When you're shooting the ball well, what are some of the things you're doing, like mechanically?
Like you said, staying into it, not falling out of it or really being off balance, but having all my mechanics good. A little bit wider feet, and really, like you said, just sticking to it and being confident with it.
No, that shot right there is picture perfect. And okay, so defensively, that's probably another thing you're sick of hearing is like, can you guard anybody, right? I think that is actually collegiately was a strength of yours. Would you agree with that?
I would. The general public won't agree with it, but I feel like in college, you're playing against a lot of guys that do a couple things really good, and then some people and everybody's kind of had deficiencies. So really just making them do those deficiencies, I think led it into people thinking that I don't give 100% effort on the defensive end. But I do. I think I'm a good defender.
Yeah, and you have really quick hands. That's one thing I noticed. So Matt Coleman, he likes to kind of get downhill going left, right?
Yes, sir.
And so your goal at this point is to just kind of allow him to feel you?
Yeah, feel me, and then I know Kerr's trailing in this type of situation, so even if I don't get a piece of it, I know Kerr's coming for the block behind me. He's one of the best shot blockers I've ever played with, probably the best, and I know that he's going to clean it up if I don't even get it right here. Yeah,
no question. He's bouncy. And so, lobs, blocks, he's got all that.
Love playing with him.
Yeah, plays a lot of energy. And then here, against Davion, just to show some of the feet, right? Mm-hmm. Active with your feet, and then you get a pretty good contest. He's what do you, if you're guarding him, what do you want to force him to do?
Shots like these. At the end of the day, he's going to make some of them, and because he's a really good player, but really making him take tough shots and end of the clock situations. I mean, he has to shoot this. He's a little bit rushed to shoot it. So really just trying to keep him in front, don't foul, and make him take a tough shot.
Yeah, late clock situation, but pretty good job, I think, all things considered. Okay, sometimes maybe get caught upright, right? You remember this one?
Yo, he beat me outside. This was a tough finish.
Tough finish.
He just got me going downhill to he attacked my top foot, and I wasn't able to recover from there.
You could, at the next level, I mean, John Morant, De'Aaron Fox, you name it, right?
Yeah, super fast.
So I think the key then is just, like you said, understanding their tendencies, understanding their strengths, and then kind of baiting them into things they don't want to do, right?
For sure.
And which you do a good job of here. So you took a lot of these on-ball charges this year, huh?
Yeah, I think it's a craft that you can really do in college, because I mean, in any situation like these, I would say 70-30, they're going to call the charge. So really kind of knowing that in the back of your head, and then putting yourself in the right situation with legal guarding position, and then really just taking it to the chest.
Yeah, so what do you see here then that allows you to make this play?
Yeah, I knew he was about to spin back, because that was a big emphasis of what he did. So I knew that, I mean, like I said, the spin was coming, so I was really just going to get in that legal guarding position and just take it to the chest.
Yeah, and then the last one too, off the ball, I like this play. I wanted to show this. I mean, the verticality there, what do you see in here?
Yeah, I mean, just being an offensive-minded person, I knew that the play that Marcus made was a really good play, and I knew he was going to have a wide-open layup. So just being able to react in that situation and get over there and, like you said, go straight up, vertical, and, I mean, not even block the shot, but have, I mean, Kerr coming down the lane as well. I mean, I knew it was going to, if he made it, it was going to be a really tough finish. But like I said, just try to go get a body on him so to make it tougher for him.
Yeah, and so much of NBA defense is team defense, off ball, right? The reality is, like, no one can stop Dame Lillard. No one can stop Steph Curry when they're going well, right?
Yes, sir.
So being in the right position, all that is super important. So, I'm just curious, like, where do you think you stack up, in this draft? Like, obviously you had a great career. You had some huge games against really good opponents. You played against Jalen Suggs, kind of toe-to-toe in a lot of ways. I mean, where do you think you fit into this draft?
I believe I fit in with honestly everybody. Just having that mindset of, I'm not scared of anybody. I want to play against the best every night, honestly. So really just having that mindset of that I belong in this type of atmosphere is the main thing. And really just self-belief. I mean, I've had to have it since a young age because, I mean, like I said, didn't have any recognition in high school or stuff like that. So for me to be here is saying something, but I'm not satisfied. I want to keep going. I want to reach the top and be productive. So really just knowing that I belong.
Yeah, that's the mentality. And so last question. I mean, we have all these guys who want to make it, I mean, there are some other kids who are from a small town who, also kind of broke through and became NBA prospects, or players in Europe, or, players in Africa, players in college, NBA players. They don't want you to come in and steal their contract, right, and take food off their table. So why is it that you should be someone that, can really make it at the next level and that NBA teams should really bet on?
I'm a hard worker. And it's come from those types of situations, coming from a small town. Like I said, I didn't have any recognition, so everything that I've ever done or got accomplished has been because I've stuck to it. It's hard. It's just hard work and putting in the time. And then, off the court, just someone that's going to be, never in trouble, good person, willing to help, willing to stick my hand out for others that want help or need help in situations. But just overall, someone that's as competitive as it gets, and really just anything to make myself better as a person, just moving forward, I'm open to it.
Yeah, no question. And I think like I said earlier, your resume, your film, it all kind of speaks for itself. And, I think you have kind of that NBA style game with the way you play. So, Austin, I appreciate you taking the time, man, and best of luck throughout the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.